Just kidding. We have an amazing team. And even if you have been with On Track, you, I bet, are still going to learn something from joining us today. But our success coordinator is Miss Wanda Izell. She's been with us for 18 years. We have our director of operations, Tasha Renfro, with us. Give her a wave. She's up there on your screen. We've got director of marketing is Dawn Lieb. Human resources, London Kane. Team of outstanding student enrollment coaches. You know who your enrollment coaches are if you've been with us. Team of amazing teachers, team of awesome aides and assistants, and team of exceptional coaches, and a dedicated board of directors. So you might want to take a screenshot of that so you know who to contact. Next slide. So I'd love to know where you're coming from today. If you would use the chat is at the bottom of your screen if you're not familiar with that, and just let us know where you're at today. Let's see who's going to win. East Coast, West Coast. We've got North Carolina.
Where's my thing?
California. Oh, and I did not go over some best practices, so you'll want to make sure your mute is on mic. I'm sorry, your mic is on mute. And later on at Q&A, we'll definitely take that off so you can ask questions. We've got North Carolina, Florida, West Virginia, North Carolina. Looking to me like, oh, we've got 2 Californias. Looking to me like today we've got a lot of East Coast people. Jacksonville, Florida, not too far from me. Asheville, North Carolina. Beautiful. Love it. Thank you. Missouri. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, next slide. So what is 20 years of growth and success look like for On Track School? Well, we've got excellent teacher retention. Teacher retention means that our teachers stay with us, they grow with us, and they continue to empower our students. We've got international accreditation. And if you don't know too much about accreditation, that means that we have an organized group of educators that review our program. And we go through this process about every 5 years, and our program gets re-accredited. So we're not only accredited now for 3 cycles nationally, but also internationally. In over 20 years, we've graduated or enrolled more than 1,500 students. Our graduation rate is 98%. That means that when a student enters high school with us, 98% chance they will graduate with us. College enrollment, oftentimes we're asked, well, where do your high schoolers go? 30% go right into college. 30% go into a business school or vocational school, and 35% are entrepreneurs. Those entrepreneurs might be following their race dreams, going right into a racing career. Some of those people might be even opening their own businesses, which is really exciting. 5% go into military, and our survey results are 5-star ratings. So we love ratings. If we have parents with us and you want to give us a review on Facebook, that's always appreciated, because word of mouth is really how we grow. And there we are at Loretta Lynn's. I want to play this short little video that I think is really important about 7 things that happen when students own their own learning. Can we hear that okay? Is that playing for you, London? Or, I'm sorry, Olivia?
Give me just a second. Sorry.
No problem. It's really important at On Track School that our learners know that they own this journey. So here we go. Thank you.
We know that it's important to move from compliance to student engagement, but what happens when we take it a step further and empower our students to own their learning? Well, here are 7 ideas. They fall in love with learning by finding joy in pursuing their passions and geeky interests. And in the process, they learn how to research and curate and communicate. They embrace a maker mindset as they walk through a design process and launch their work to the world. They develop iterative thinking, viewing mistakes as a chance to learn. And this leads to a shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. They become self-starters, exploring new frontiers, asking hard questions, and trying new things. They become problem solvers and systems thinkers, but they also challenge the system as hackers who think divergently and rewrite the rules. They become architects of their own learning, engaging in project management and collaboration. AJ Giuliani puts it this way: our job is not to prepare students for something. Our job is to help students prepare themselves for anything. In other words, when we empower our students, they are able to own their learning forever.
Thank you for sharing that, Olivia. So the importance of that is that at On Track School, we do empower our students to own their learning journey. And then through that, they're able to engage with their amazing learning coaches, and then everybody excels. Next slide. Getting there in a minute. And everybody needs to give Olivia a high five up there. She's our creative assistant and graduate, and now working with On Track School. So that is really exciting. On Track School steps to student success. So these are all things that if you've been with us, if you're new to us, these are things that we feel are essential for being a successful student. And that is, we provide flexibility where there's different methods of learning. It's interactive, students engage and they're drawn into the learning process. It's accessible. Every student has access to resources to help them on their journey. It's responsive and supportive. Every student can receive extra help as needed. I remember when we were traveling around the country and, my son was a champion at a young age, racing his motorcycle. And I wanted to make sure that this program was built so that students had full support and in a very responsive way. And that took that off the parent, so that they had full teacher support. The parent here facilitates, but the learning coaches are there to be responsive and supportive to the students. It's an informed program where different methods of measuring progress are facilitated. Instead of doing national standardized testing at the end of the year, we do benchmark assessments, which shows us just how far students are coming in the course of a year. It's personalized, meaning that it fits the student's needs, goals, and lifestyle. It's paced so that we can measure progress and understand goals. In fact, our students meet with their homeroom coach every month and have goal meetings and talk about what's working, what's not working so well, and how can we better support you. It's paced so that we can measure progress and understand those goals. It's collaborative, where each student has a team of support, including peers and faculty. And it's challenging and achievable. So we feel that it's a rigorous program, yet it's also very manageable. Next slide. So I'm always looking at trends in online learning, and I thought I would share some of these with you. You don't have to read through every one of them, but I found this one to be very interesting. 70% of students agree the online classes are better than the traditional classroom setting. And, you know, when I started visualizing an online program, it was well before there were online programs. And I just felt like, how cool would it be if students anywhere can do school anytime at their own pace? But what I'm most proud of after all these years is the level of engagement that we've actually been able to create in our online classes. And in this middle category, the one thing that I found very interesting was that e-learning requires 40 to 60% less time than learning in a traditional classroom. And one of the questions that I often get when I meet new parents is, well, how much time does it take, right? Well, when you take out all the busy work of going to a traditional brick and mortar school, that's less time. But the fact that they're learning in a quicker way and able to achieve the high level grades they are is exciting, because that means that the flexibility, the personalization is very meaningful to their educational journey. And like we already said before, you know, the Forbes report from 2023 states that remote, online, and hybrid learning is allowing educators to reach students no matter where they are. And that doesn't just mean physically, but it means meeting students where they are academically. So the levels of support that we have in offering small groups and managing students who might be behind and catching them up, and even accelerating students. And you'll meet one of our accelerated students shortly. Next slide. So what are some of the takeaways? We are a private K-12 online school. Currently, we have more than, at this point, 540 students across the globe. Like I said earlier, we're internationally accredited. We allow students to pursue their education while chasing their dreams, and we're flexible, personalized, and interactive. There are many different pathways to graduation. Students can choose that college route, vocational opportunities, and more. We have an apprentice program that we'll be sharing with you here shortly. And On Track Presents, that's our monthly webinar, brings community to the classroom. And we just had Aiden on this month. Previously, we've had Jason Fowler on sharing tips of, you know, personal coaching, mental coaching with our online community. And we have in-person events as well. I think we missed some slides. We're going to have to go back a little bit, which is okay. We have some, let's see where we were. Okay, here we go. Okay, we talked about our mission and vision, where we empower, engage, and excel. And we'll go forward a little bit, catch up. So connection and community, I think, is really what sets us apart. And 3 programs that we have that really embrace connection and community are the Ambassador Program, the Apprentice Program, and our scholarships. So we have an ambassador with us today, Casey Cochran, and he's also accelerated his graduation date. And so we're going to hear from him shortly. The Apprentice Program, Olivia, who's managing our slides for us today, she's a creative assistant with us now. And the Apprentice Program was developed by MX Sports. And that was really with the intention of providing family members who go to Loretta Lynn's with an opportunity to work within the sport. Let's say they're interested in announcing, they would shadow the announcers. Or if they were interested in photography, they would shadow a photographer. And we now are in our 3rd year, and apprentices are being hired. Olivia is one of those examples, but we also have an announcer at GNCC that I'll be seeing this weekend. So that's really exciting. And the next slide will tell you a little bit about our scholarships. well, we'll talk about this one first. So we're going a little back and forth. So I hope you're bearing with us. When we get to Q&A, we'll get into more detail. But something that's really important when you're looking for a school program, or, you know, even if you've been with us and you haven't really had this opportunity to study it, I'm available to go over this with you. So are the homeroom coaches. We give a power traits assessment. And for me, I think it's the blueprint of how your student learns best. And it breaks it up into these different areas. What's your child's disposition? What's their personality like? Because when you look at a person's personality, it's going to tell you, do they like to move? Do they like to plan? Are they a discover person? Are they an interacting person? Do they like to create? And when we take that component and we put it together with their natural talents or gifts and look at, you know, are they high in music? Are they a math person? Do they like to work with people, animals, humor? And then you take it another step further. What is their modality? Do they learn best by hearing? Do they have to talk to hear themselves? Do they like to see pictures or read? Are they hands-on? Do they like to sketch? You know, there are some people that like to doodle. There's a whole thing about, you know, doodling and learning and retaining. And what is their preferred surroundings? And you take all of this information in a learning style profile, and our learning coaches can help you actually build your week or your setting so that your students set up for success. The On Track Presents, that's a monthly opportunity where we have somebody from our community come in and actually tell an inspiring story to our students. And you can go back on YouTube, and if you go to our website, you can actually go in and you can watch these. Ricky's been with us a couple times now. Jeff, Dr. Jason, he's a really great motivational speaker. Jason Fowler, he's also a trainer. He trains a lot of the motocross kids now. And Gray Ledbetter is a graduate, but they're really inspiring stories. And just like all of our graduates will, you know, come back and hopefully be an on-track presenter and tell us their inspiring story. That gives us, you know, an opportunity to see the challenges that people go through to get where they are and what their gifts are to share with our community. If you haven't attended one, I highly recommend that you do. The scholarships and incentives that we have are open in the spring. We have an application process for most of these. So the Ambassador Scholarship is something that On Track School gives back. We have an application process. Ambassador needs to be a good mentor on and off the track. Their grades need to be in high standing. They need to be a mentor or role model. And then they participate in these monthly meetings where they have some leadership training with me through John Maxwell curriculum. So that's been something that I've really enjoyed doing the last couple of years. Sarah Price is a graduate of ours. Sarah races around the world in her off-road car, and she's donated $1,000 for an annual scholarship, and there's a process for that. It's typically for a young woman, and we have a recipient here tonight or today who can tell you about her experience. Jonathan Mazak was a graduate of ours, and unfortunately several years ago he lost his life, and the family has a memorial scholarship for Jonathan, and a designated student that Jonathan used to train that is the recipient of that, but it's an honorable mention that I don't want to leave out. Ken Roxon is a fan of On Track in education, and he donates a jersey. He's very selective to who he donates to. So we raffle that off, and that helps us to ease the financial strain for some family that might not be able to otherwise have that opportunity. So we're grateful to Ken. And Wiseco Performance, I believe this is going to be their 6th year where they donate $2,500 towards a student scholarship. And we hope as the years progress that we have more scholarships and incentives to provide. And so now we are going to open this up and talk to some of our parents and students to share how they balance the pursuit of education while chasing their dreams. And let's see, maybe we can start with Amy. Oops, you might have a and a computer on, but we might need to all go on mute there. There we go. Amy Cochran, are you with us?
She isn't here right now. It's just me. She went to the store, so you're stuck with me.
I'll take it, Casey. You can speak very eloquently on your own, and you are an On Track ambassador. I'm really happy to have you here today. We have people that are new to On Track, people that have been with On Track and maybe didn't know all the things that we had to offer. So go for it. Tell us how things worked for you and how you balanced it all.
Yeah, so it's a very great program that's worked tremendously for me, and obviously I train every single day, riding my dirt bike, hoping to go pro. So it's very important to get an education as well as being able to chase my dream, as that's the whole motto here. And especially even graduating early this year, a year early, I was able to take some classes over the past few summers to just get ahead and be able to graduate early before I get pro, so I'm not overly with the pro schedule, because they obviously have a very busy schedule and that would be tough. But yeah, it's been very, very easy to work with, and I'm super thankful for the support I've had in this program.
Well, Casey, another fun fact about you is you are the longest student that we've had enrolled in On Track school. And that is pretty cool. And it makes me feel maybe a little old, but you came in and we did not really even have a full K-5 curriculum, but it was a challenge and we were up for it. So thank you for helping us grow.
Thank you.
And you're also the valedictorian. Are you excited to write your speech? Are you working on
I know. It's a lot of pressure.
Oh, I think pressure is something that you're used to, right? When you're a racer.
A little bit. But yeah, I'm happy to have been the valedictorian this year. I mean, everything I try and do is 100%. So I'm thankful again.
Well, it was our pleasure, Casey. You're an exemplary student when you're out there. You are a great mentor to other kids. I've watched you at events, even just playing basketball with kids that you didn't know and just fitting right in, and you make everybody feel really included. And I noticed that. And that's, one of the reasons why I was excited to have you as an ambassador. So thank you for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Your experience. I appreciate that. And I know we have a parent with us, Shauna, and I think we have Aiden with us. We'd love to hear from you guys, your family, about, just your experience and how you juggle it all and how it worked. And honestly, if there's something we could do better, we want to know that too.
Do you want to go first?
You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. So when we started for a few different reasons, the first was obviously Aiden being a racer, but we were also on when COVID happened, and my husband's aunt was a third grade teacher, and she was supposed to be Aiden's teacher, and she was the one telling us, like, you need to homeschool him, you need to homeschool him. And I'll be the first to say I was actually not a fan of homeschooling. And then the more I thought about it and I kind of saw what was going on, I was like, you know what, we're just going to give it a shot. And I can remember I reached out to Andrea and, was expressing my concerns. And I will say that not only is it great coming from the athlete portion of being super flexible, but to this day, I tell everybody that if Aiden told us he did not want to race anymore, we would continue with On Track. And it's not just the flexibility, it's there's just so much more to it. The community, we have realized that with Aiden sitting down in a classroom for 6 hours or more a day was not for him. And we truly feel that he has excelled academically and personally. Aiden can be fairly shy until he gets to know you. And I feel like his public speaking has actually gotten so much better. And I don't know if that's because of when we're doing school, you know, we're interacting with the classmates, I feel like more than we typically would if we were sitting in a classroom, but also when we're at these races and On Track is asking Aiden to do interviews and whatnot, it has really opened up a lot of opportunities for him. We also travel a lot with his racing. So obviously the flexibility is amazing. We are bi-coastal. So sometimes we're in California and sometimes we're in Florida, and there's really zero interruption with his school schedule, because whether we're driving or on different time zones, Aiden can, and he can speak for it, he can literally hop on his computer and do his schoolwork anywhere.
Well, that is so exciting. I love to get to know the kids at the track. You know, I think that's fun when we can go to events. And I saw an opportunity for Aiden, and he just jumped right in there. So I am known for putting kids on the spot like that, but I knew he was up for it. And Aiden, you did a great job, and it was fun,
Thank
right?
you. Yeah.
Well, how are you, bud? How's your experience? Are you all glad that it's like the last day? This is only not the last day of school if you have makeup work to do. So I'm assuming you're done.
Yeah.
Oh, good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
She said most of my words, so I was gonna say. I don't know what to say.
You do what worked for you. It's okay. It's okay if it's repeated.
When I go travel, I can do it when I want to and still be fine. And it just helped me so I can ride more and longer. And it's way funner than sitting in a classroom
More
for
fun.
8 hours.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that, Aiden. You know, you could take out the busy work and you could just take it with you and you know, create a family, create like a community of people that support you. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I remember when I first met you at Mammoth. That seems so long ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I know we have Meghan and Sabrina. I don't know if I see Meghan here, but there she is. I see you now.
Yes, I'm
Meghan is the recipient of our Sarah Price Scholarship. And one day it's my goal that you actually get to meet Sarah, because she's just a rock star in what she does. And she's excited that she was able to help support you. So how did we help you support your goals this year? You want to share something with us?
Of course, I'm very thankful of all the help from Sarah Price. She allowed me to reach my goals and help me. And I love On Track because it helps me. Like I can train every day. As we can see, I'm in gear right now. I just got done with training. And what On Track helps me a lot with is when we have races that are far and I can't always do it on time, and I can just talk to the teachers and they will allow me to submit my work later. And that helps a lot because I can focus on my race and be 100% ready.
Oh,
I can't hear you anymore.
I did that thing where I was on mute for a second. It happens at least once. Communication is key. And we always tell our students that, you know, life is balancing, right? And so if you need more time, you just have to put your hand up. I always say in a virtual environment, there are no silly questions, or, you know, it's just important to put your hand up and say, I need help. I'm stuck. I need a few extra days. And that's important. So I'm glad that you're working with your teachers to do that. And I know we have your mom here, and it's always, I think moms always need to share their opinions so other parents can hear what worked for you.
Well, really like the fact that it gave confidence to both my kids. Meghan was able to really just train whenever she wants and be just so happy training and improving. And my son Matt also goes to On Track, and Matt had some challenges with the public school system and being sitting for so long and stuff. And I find that with Matt, not only does he have more flexibility, just like Meghan, but also for Matt, he changed. He became just so much happier about school and about learning in general, which is so key to us. Like how important is it in life to be able to learn and to love to learn? And that's what Matt got from On Track, which is so amazing to us. Like, he loves to learn. He's not scared anymore of making mistakes. It's okay. So it really changed our son. And that's what I keep telling a lot of the parents that I meet. Like, for us, the flexibility for them to train is huge, but seeing Matt becoming happy with who he is and being more self-confident made a huge difference for us. So we are very happy with On Track.
Oh, well, thank you, Sabrina. I love hearing that. That's great. Thank you, parents, and thank you for our students who came in and shared with us today. I appreciate that. You know, I learned when I started tutoring that if you can enhance an individual's self-concept, you know, their feeling of who they are, their self-esteem, that's half the battle of anything, right? If they feel better about who they are, they're going to do better. They're going to enjoy everything better, whether it's racing, whether it's going to school, going to school, enjoying school. If you tap into their interest, if you make them feel like they're part of that journey, that's a wonderful thing. So I really appreciated hearing that today, Sabrina. That's exciting. We are going to get to a Q&A so that, you know, if you've got a question, before we sign off, I want to make sure that you put it in the chat or let me know you want to come off mute and I'll call you, because I love to engage, you know, and interact with people that are here, make it more personable. But we do have a promotion if you've joined us today, and there is a discount, and we will email you that discount code after the webinar. I want to make sure to say that. So we're open for Q&A right now, and I'd love to take an opportunity. And if I can't answer the question, I know that our team here can help. We've got a couple. We've got Miss Ashley here. She's our star high school learning coaches with us today. You can give us a wave. We've got Tasha Renfro, our director of operations, is here with us today. And Olivia, of course, our apprentice that we've now hired as our creative assistant, and Allie is with us also. She's our promotional person. And we have Wanda. Miss Wanda is here. She's been with us 18 years, and she's our success coordinator, making sure that all the pieces, listen, there are layers of support that I can't even begin to explain appropriately, but Wanda takes all the layers together to make sure students have what they need to get to the finish line. But like Sabrina said, actually enjoy the journey. So we'd love to hear from you. I see a question here from Brittany. I'm curious about the minimum age for On Track for kindergarten. So for kindergarten, they have to be 5 by, I believe we're going with Florida. On Track is in Florida, and I believe it's 5 by October 1st. Wanda, you might be able to confirm that for me, but we do have kindergarten, and our kindergarten first grade team is growing, and that's exciting to see. I was at their awards ceremony at the end of the year, and it was super cute, as all of the grade levels were. Question from Walter. Will I have to attend Zoom meetings to get credit for work? Or will I be able to do my own thing the whole time? Well, Walter, I can't say you can do your own thing the whole time because that could be very vague. We do have, a system where you have your work for the week and you have to turn it in at the end of the week. We do have live sessions and we highly encourage you. In fact, many of our teams give extra credit for going to live sessions. It's part of a participation grade. And honestly, your live sessions, they are where the instruction happens. So if you're missing the instruction, you're really not taking advantage of the learning coaches that we put into place for you. Now, we understand that we have students all over the globe and the United States. So if you can't make that live session, which we try in time to work into, the majority of our students' schedules, they are recorded. So I hope that helps you, Walter. Let me know if I can help more with that. Good question so far. Kelly, I'm sorry I was a few minutes tardy. Where can I accept, so if I'm not redundant, where can I access your curriculum paths for each grade level? And when will the testing determine grade levels? Okay, your son goes to school and Brighton are similar and very good friends. Okay, gotcha. Kelly, well, what we do is we have pathway meetings, and during that meeting, we want to get a really good, clear understanding of where your student is at. And then we kind of customize and personalize that pathway for your student. So we don't have a place that you can currently log on and see what the curriculum is for every grade level. We do have a high school course catalog that'll be accessible, but for your son, what I would recommend is getting together with our enrollment coach, and you could do that on our website. I think Tasha might be able to put into the chat a link so that you can schedule a pathway meeting. And I know they're on their way cross country, and I bet it was hard for your son, Eames, to say goodbye to Brighton. They're a really great family. Yes, Brittany, the program is synchronous and asynchronous. So they're live sessions and they're also recorded sessions. But, also additional support is offered by each learning coach. So if a student needs extra help, there are live office hours that are available. If your student needs more than, let's just say, extra time with the teacher in office hours, we do also have tutors. And that's a great service that we provide. There is an extra cost for that, but it just depends how often. But you start first with your teacher for that extra support. You're very welcome. Any other questions that we can help you with? And feel free to ask a question of one of our parents here today, because parent to parent, they have a different experience than we do. Shauna,
I was gonna kind of touch on that, just coming from the parent aspect. One of my, and I know, Andrea, you had kind of discussed this in the beginning, one of my kind of hesitations of homeschooling was I didn't really want to be a teacher because that's not what I am. And so I can speak from experience that, and with traveling. So Aiden does, I will say, in all honesty, it's probably 50-50. Half the time he's live and half the time he's not. And I don't feel that either way it was hurtful. I felt that having Miss Chantel and Mrs. Laura there, all the Zooms were recorded. So anytime we were not able to be in the live Zoom, Aiden could easily get on, and it's what he's watching is exactly their lesson as if he were live. And so with that, it was peace of mind for me too. If I wasn't able to be right there, he still had the exact Zoom that they used to teach. And I also felt that they were never, because another take back or hesitation I had was, is he going to be sitting in front of a computer all day long? And he wasn't. The Zooms were very informational to the point what he needed. You know, some, depending on the subject, were 30 minutes. And obviously with math, and as he's getting older, they're a little more involved. So yes, they would be longer, but I never felt that we were sitting in front of a computer thinking like, oh my gosh, when was this over? So I hope that helps parents who are on here, just because I was that parent. I didn't, you know, yes, I am like Andrew said, I'm a facilitator. I just make sure he does his work, and of course he has questions, but they always had the office hours, and it's a live link that at any moment you can click on it during their time, and he could get on and ask questions if needed.
That's a really good point that you bring up, because, you know, before all the schools were shut down when COVID was happening across the country, and they had to figure things out, which I would imagine had to be really difficult. Kids were on the computer all day, and it was so sad. Even little kids, like 4 hours or for kindergarten or second grade, and way more, 6 hours for high school. So no, the point is to not have students on the computer all day, but give them the instruction, the interaction, the engagement, even, you know, fun activities to do with their classmates, and then be able to go independently, take that instruction and be able to complete their assignments on their own. So thank you. Those were really good points to bring up. And see, that's why it's great to have parents here, because I would not have really thought of that. Appreciate that. Julian asks, what are the beginning and end dates of the school year? When and how are classes chosen, and how are we notified? Sorry. I have to mute mine occasionally. The school year is traditional. So orientation is at the end of August, and we stop at the middle of June. The reason is we do take off 2 weeks at Christmas break. We take off 2 weeks in March. We time that for our spring nationals, because 90% of our students are in the motocross world. And then we have a week for Thanksgiving. As far as choosing classes, there is a link here. Erica is our enrollment coach, and she's very nicely added a Calendly link to set up a time with her to go over choosing courses for the fall. The sooner you choose them, the sooner supplies are ordered and everything is organized to get off to a really good start. I hope that's helpful, Julian. What time are class meetings typically with different time zones? I would say, you know, let me see if I can call on Miss Ashley. Are you still with us? Can you answer a question? I know that's mainly for high school for you, but what time are the lives scheduled in high school?
So depending on the class, so there's a lot of different classes with a lot of different live learning sessions. So with high school, I know we have times that range from, and we try not to start so early in the day for our Pacific Coast people, but we I believe have lives that are starting around 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, and they go throughout the day. But once a week, each live learning session is once a week, and end in the afternoon, evening. But you only have to do like one for English, which English is all on Mondays, and then you have one, math is on Tuesdays, and then social studies are Wednesday, science is Thursday. So we have set days for each subject area on when you have to do live learning sessions, but you only have to do one a day because you're only in one English class and then one math class, etc. But they're once a week, and we try to schedule the time so that it's not too inconvenient, not too late in the day for our East Coast, not too early in the morning for our Pacific Coast. But I hope that answered the question.
It did. Thank you so much, Ashley. I appreciate it. And that's pretty much middle school does the same thing. That team has a different subject every day. They tend to be they rotate the time so that they can kind of take an advantage, because I understand Florida and California, the difference in the time zone. So we try and spread it out. Tasha, were you going to say, I saw your hand up, I might have missed you.
I was just going to share a different perspective as far as, experience. Part of the reason why I work at On Track is just due to the love for the program. My son, and he'll probably kill me if he sees this, but he actually struggled a little bit in regular school. Like a lot of our students, he just go, wants to finish first, didn't pay attention to what he was doing and just would speed through the assignments or material. Although, they attempted in public school to give him the support he needed, it didn't really click for him until he got to On Track. And just with that experience, initially, the teachers were, just amazing. And we call them learning coaches, but just amazing in the sense that they were able to bridge a connection with him instantly. They took the time to understand what he was interested in. And before you knew it, they swapped it up. And now he's like, Mom, oh my gosh, I'm learning about wakeboarding. And I'm like, oh, really? So anyway, they made it so seamless, but they were all so passionate. They still are, all of our team is so passionate about learning that the students don't even feel like they're learning. And then they feel embraced. And the way that our team is able to make that, just that connection across the digital sense, is really just inspiring for me. And that's why, I'm very passionate about what I do for the school and for our community. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Tasha. I appreciate that. I know Jordan's been with us going on, this is number 5, right? 5 years now.
I think so. Yeah. Since the 6th grade, and definitely made a huge difference for him. A lot of the things that he needed to be accommodated for, our program and our format actually, it accommodated in itself within the program. But the teachers and the learning coaches that we have just really took it above and beyond, anything that I've ever experienced. And I still have I had 2 kids in the regular school system. And by far it's, I guess I'm a little biased to the program. So anyway, that's why I'm.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We have a question from, I don't want to mispronounce your name, Zemina. Hi, besides the scholarships, do you have any other kind of student aid? Well, we are always working on, and I don't know if you have a child who races, but we have worked together with the AMA to create the first ever motorcycle scholarship fund. So students that race can go to certain events and actually earn money for 1st through 10th place in designated classes. And that would go into an educational 529 account and can be used not just for On Track, but any K-12 private school, vocational school, or college. So we're really excited about that. We are continuously getting together with people in our community to help support financial scholarships so that we can grow that fund. That's something that Tasha and I also work on. We have a nonprofit side of On Track that does just that. So hopefully there will be more to come, in that area. Now, I will say there are 7, 8, 9 states out there that have scholarship programs. So if you know what state you're in, you go to schoolchoice.org, you can look up your state, you can see what you can claim on your taxes, what you can't. Florida is now introducing vouchers. It's very complicated, so I'm not even going to begin to explain it to you. They're still trying to figure it out. So depending on your state, there are vouchers. I do know Arizona. Hello, Arizona. You guys are amazing. You have this virtual wallet. Your school voucher money goes into it and you pay for school. I mean, I think the world should be set up that way. You all deserve to have a choice of where you send your kids. And shouldn't really always have to come out of your pocket. Just saying. That's my soapbox. I'm sticking to it. Okay, where are we? Okay.
I think someone asked about students with IEPs, Andrea.
Yeah.
And that's, definitely, I know you can answer that, but that kind of ties into my experience. Just to touch on that briefly, my child had an IEP 504, and coming over to On Track, depending on the 504 and IEP, we can accommodate a lot of things. I don't know if Kelly's in here, but if Wanda's in here, I know she can probably speak to that, or Andrea, you guys could speak to that a little bit more specifically. But the way that we handle it is you would set up a meeting with Miss Erica and that enrollment team. We would talk to you about what your expectations are and what your struggles and needs are for your specific student. And then we would review that information to see if it's something that we can accommodate, and then come up with a specialized and personalized plan for your particular student. We have a whole team that works with our exceptional students, is what we like to call our students that come to us with 504s and IEPs. Being that we're a private school, we don't follow that same language, but we do have a format that follows the same process. So we call them support plans and success plans. And like I said, Andrea or Wanda can speak more to that, but hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because when we first started, I always treated every student as a unique student. And so IEPs were not even, a consideration, as far as we would not be able to serve them because of the one-on-one attention that our students do get. So now that we have over 500 students and we're seeing more, special needs come in, we still are accommodating, but now we have a full-on process where there's a success plan and there's accommodations as far as what we can do. And we actually have, support on our staff that works with our students to make sure if there are accommodations that are still needed from the public school system, that they can empower those parents to ask for those things. Great question. Appreciate that. So I would remind you that there is a discount code. An email will come to you. We really appreciate that you joined us. I hope you learned something, even if you've been with us for a long time, or if you're new to us. I hope you learned something that maybe you didn't know before. And if you haven't checked us out, I hope you take advantage of the links to meet with our pathway, our enrollment coach for a pathway meeting. If you need any assistance from any of us, our contact information is available on our website. We would love to be able to connect with you and tell you more about our program. And if there are any remaining questions, we have a couple more minutes. We're happy to answer them for you. Here's one from Rebecca. Good timing, Rebecca. My son is going to be a senior. Does the tuition vary depending on the grade? Yes, it does. Actually, our high school program has grown significantly with so many resources, so many opportunities, different focuses and pathways, that it does depend. And Erica and the pathway meeting can go over that with you. And the link is up here, but we'll see if we can go put it back down there for you.
And just to kind of, tag into that, Andrea, too, a lot of times people get confused because we are an online program that it's based on the time that you spend with us. As far as tuition is concerned, it's actually based on the credit hours. So credit hours and grade level. But again, like Andrea said, if you schedule some time, we can customize that. We'll review your transcript. Miss Erica is amazing, and that team that she works with, they'll review your information and then get you a kind of a suggested schedule so that we can give you a customized quote.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Okay. All good? Okay.
May I say something?
Yes, you may, Ms. Ashley.
And Rebecca, welcome. I work a lot with the seniors, and I would be excited to work with your son for his senior year. The seniors have been something that I'm you know, I love working with all of them. They're all have great talents, and they excel in so many different areas. And our students at On Track are the best. I may be a bit biased, but they're the best. We have wonderful students that are fascinating and fantastic. I love just to get to know my students. So if you meet with me, we may not talk about school necessarily. I am interested to know more about my students as a person and their interests. And I'm just really excited to get to know who my new students will be next coming up school year. And excellent to meet all of you.
Thank you for that, Ashley. I appreciate that. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for your time. I hope you feel that it was well spent. And we look forward to talking to you again soon, or meeting with you at one of the many events. A thumbs up if you're going to Loretta Lynn's. If you know what that is, that's our big race. So we will be there. We have a big booth there. We have a big graduation ceremony. We have a prom even. We make sure our kids at another event in November have a homecoming dance. So we try and do really fun things at the events that we go to. So if you see us in an event, please come say hi.